Hello, good day. Let's start this new lesson for Unreal Engine 5.7.2. Today's lecture will show how to combine multiple animations in the sequencer and how to create time dilation effects.
Hello, good day everyone. In today's video, I will show you how to combine multiple action scenes in the sequencer. Well, I want to show how to combine multiple animations in the sequencer. So let's just go to play, click play. So it has some slowdown thing there like the matrix. So we can see multiple animations. If we split the animations, up, down. There were multiple animations that were in play here. And we also had some time dilation for the slowdown kind of matrix type effect. So I'll show you how to do everything. First, we'll import the characters. Let's go to a site where we can import the characters. First, we'll go to Sketchfab and we'll download a character. I'm going to search for a samurai. So when searching, once we see this icon, this download button there, that means we could download this character. When we see this icon and there's nothing here, that means we could just view this character, but we cannot download the character. When we see this sign here, this the label sign, that means that we can view and we can pay, and if we pay, we can download the character. So I'm just going to look for a samurai, for something that is relatively nice. What about this one? So click. Okay, this is a basic samurai. I'll download this character. So this is the link here. This is the link here for the samurai. I'll click download. Now, I want to mention that there are different file formats in which you can download this asset. We will choose the FBX format. Now, we can also download the GLB format, and this is really appropriate for, like, let's say when we work with static meshes. That's really the meshes without any armature. However, our intention is to animate this character. This character will have an armature. So to do this, we definitely will need an FBX file format because we plan to animate this character in Mixamo. So click here to download. You're downloading here. When you have downloaded the character, the next thing you're supposed to do is really go to the zip folder, unzip it, and pull out the character. I need to go to my downloads. I'll create a new folder here because I've been working with a lot of files. So I'll create a new folder here. I just gave the folder this name because I have been working with several examples. So I'm going to right click and extract. So we have the samurai here. When you double click here, this will be the texture files. Well, the texture files will be images. The different images. And we can go back to the source. The source will be the FBX file. So the next step is to go to Mixamo. So here we can see the samurai. I was actually working on samurai before. So what I will do, and then I will click upload character. Then what I'll need to do is drag and drop the FBX file into this area here. So when I drag and drop the FBX file, so the next thing you have to do is to rig the character. So you'll click next. I'll just show you these arrows up. So next thing we have to do is to rig the character. I can put in the chin. So it's very easy to rig a character with Mixamo. Erase. Now, when you're rigging character, it doesn't need to be 100% exact. It just needs to be just relatively approximate. Elbows are around here. Groin. Relatively around here, or somewhere around here. This is the knees right here. And then I want to press next. So Mixamo's auto rigger is now trying to rig the character. So we have rigged the character. Press next. Next. So you're going to select T-pose. Now, while this rig is working, this character had a problem. We can see when you go to this knee here, the left knee here, the mesh is somewhat deformed. That's a problem with this mesh. So I'm just going through the tutorial to show you how to rig the character and how to combine multiple animations, but this mesh had a problem. What I'll do eventually, I might do over this tutorial with a better character, but I'll just use this character for today. So you're going to download this character. You will choose 24 frames per second because the intention is to make animations for video. You will choose with skin. You will choose format FBX. And you leave keyframe reduction at none. And then you click download. So the file is downloading. It is called T-pose 1. That is because we have downloaded multiple versions of this file already. I have went through this exercise multiple times already. So the next thing I'm going to do is to download an animation pack. Type sword, press enter, and I'm going to choose the Great Sword pack. This will include 51 animations. Now I want to mention that first I had downloaded each one of these animations individually until I realized that I could just download the entire animation pack. So I'm like, why download all the animations one by one? I can just download the pack with the entire 51 animations. So I'll just click this. So after I downloaded the Great Sword pack, what I did is I opened the Great Sword pack. So I created a folder here, new folder, Great Sword pack. Well, I call this one Great Sword pack 2 because I previously called this one Great Sword pack, first one. Double click, press Ctrl A, Ctrl C, copy. Double click, press Ctrl V, and I paste the Great Sword pack right here. The next thing I will do is go to Unreal. So this is Unreal here. You know what? I think I'll create a new level. I don't want to mix up this level. So I just created a new level here. So I'll create a folder, right click and create a folder. New underscore level. And I'll put all the content in this folder. So I'll create a new folder, right click and create a new folder. Samurai. Right click, create new folder, type is sequencer. Right click, new folder, static. Now the reason why I created a folder called Static Samurai is because I wanted to download a static version of the mesh and to import the static version of the mesh and see if it will work. So now let's get the static version of the mesh. So I'm back on Sketchfab and I'm going to download a static version of the mesh to see if it will work. Download 3D model and I'll download the GLB file. This file will not be animated. I just want to import this into the Unreal Engine 5.7.2 to see if the file will load and if it will load properly. Click download. So I just drag and drop the GLB file for the Samurai in the folder here. So I'll just rename the Samurai GLB. And what I'll do, I will import this into Unreal. So go back to Unreal. I'm in Unreal, so I'll go to the static Samurai folder, double click, and then I'm going to drag and drop the GLB into here. Now when you import the GLB, usually the textures come and the materials come loaded, they don't come as separate files. Let's just drag this here. We have to import it. So let's see what settings we have to click. Go to materials, animations, static meshes. Make sure this is clicked. Combine static meshes. Make sure this is clicked. Once this is clicked, everything else looks okay. There's no animation, so you don't have anything to worry about. Import textures. Just make sure you import textures. Or click import. Unclick this. Do not use the same settings for subsequent files. We want every time that we import files of this nature, GLB, we can choose what settings we want to import the file with. Click import. Import is done. Double click. Go to static meshes. Samurai. We're in a level here. Let's just drag and drop and see if it's working. So it's working, it's loaded. So it's relatively big. So let's downsize this thing to, let's say, 0.1. Enter. All right. Press E, rotate. 90 degrees. Press W. Press F and we zoom in. So we see this is static mesh of the Samurai. So we know how it's supposed to look. This is the static mesh. It's not going to perform any animations. Well, there's no armature, limbs, and so forth are not going to change. So let's now import the animated version of this same character. So the first thing we need to do, we need to import the T-pose. So we go back to the Samurai, we go back to the static Samurai, then we go to new level, then we go to the Samurai. This folder will have the animated Samurai. So then next thing we need to do, we need to import the T-pose. Now this is very important. You want to click this. Okay, we just can't unclick this. Let's go to materials. Make sure you import materials. Make sure you go to textures. Make sure you import textures. Static meshes. Make sure we import static meshes. Skeletal meshes. This option is to import the animations only. We will not select this for this import. We will make sure that we select and we will import skeleton meshes. So we don't have to change anything here. We don't have to select the pose yet because this will be the main skeleton we'll be working with. Click import. It's important. Okay, so I'm just going to drag and drop the T-pose here to see if it's being imported to all the materials and textures. Okay, so it's very small, so let's upscale. Upscale to like, let's say 11. Enter. Left click and move up the mouse. Drag. So you see we have imported the character and it has imported correctly. It has imported with the materials and textures. So now let's import the animation. And let's go back to Unreal. Unreal. Content draw. So we need to drag and drop the different animations into the same folder. When we do that, they will automatically use this skeleton, this armature, for the armature for the animations. So let's do that now. Drag and drop. So we hide it all and then drag and drop here. So now this is the import settings. So let's go to animations. Yes, we are importing animations only. The software has recognized that it will go to the skeleton here. We do not have to import materials. We do not have to import textures. Yes, we click yes, combine static meshes, skeletal meshes, import. This will take a while. We can see all the animations are being imported one by one, and it's importing very fast. So the animations have been imported. So the next thing to do is to create a sequencer and to bring the T-pose into the sequencer. So this is the T-pose here. Click this button here to start the sequencer. So let's create this. Double click, sequencer, save. So we just created the sequencer. Now we have to import the animation into the sequencer. Now you can click here and add, but I like to import it like this. Select the character, T-pose, and then drag it across here. That's my personal preference for importing characters into the sequencer. So we have the animation tab. Let's choose or let's select an animation. Type run, RUN. I'll start the animation like this. I'll make character run. Now I could just bring this across and make this character run. But I want to show you all this. Press play. Okay, this is backwards. So I'll choose animation, type run, drag this across, click here and drag this across. Basically what we have here, we're trying to create some kind of animation loop, but every time we reach to the end of the animation, it restarts and it goes back to the original position. I will show you all how to deal with this. Then it's bad, so what I'll do, click this here, press Alt and drag this across. One, Alt, hold across. Created some overlap. Press Alt, drag it across, press Alt, drag it across. So we'll be creating some overlap. So then right click. Alright, so right click now. Matches bone the previous clip. Right foot. Just above this here, just so you've dragging the slider here. Just after it crop past this area here. Right click. Right foot up here. Right click. Let's see how it's working. So I'll press play. Alright, so some need to be right foot and some will need to be left foot. Right click. Left foot. Right click. Left foot. Let's go. I'll make this overlap slightly. Just one back, so I turn right click until left foot. Change your foot. Right click. Left foot. Alright, so let's go back here to the start of the timeline and press play. Working, but I can again some lag. So you know what I'll do? I will make some overlap. I'll open up this. Right, so trying to improve the transition, so right click, go to options, click linear. So working started timing. It's relatively working, but there was some kind of thickening in the animation. But I'll work with this animation for now. But I did so much work in creating this animation, I want to bake it at this point in time. So what I'll do, I'll click bake animation sequence. Go into new level. We're going to go in samurai. We're going to name it longer run. Click OK. So now that we have created that animation sequence, we'll just add it here. Type long. Zoom out. Go to the floor. Press R. Longer. R. W. Display. W. Well, S. Swing. When you reach this point here, it resets. So what we'll do, right click, unclick this, match your rotation. So when I reach here, I'm not supposed to reset. Match his bone with left foot to some sort. So you see we just combined an animation. So let's restart. So the character runs, reaches the end, and then starts some kind of combo. Observe the animation goes on to here, but we stop the timeline here. So let's just add an additional animation at that point. Extend the timeline. Right click, match your rotation, match bone with previous clip. Press right foot. If right foot don't work, you'll try left foot. These two animations are overlapping. If the transition is not smooth, you'll put one animation on top of each other. So you see, when we're moving forward, the animation jumps backward. So what we need to do is rather than put right foot, you'll put left foot. So right click, left foot. So it's working. Let's just carry this up to facilitate a better transition. Let's try it again. You see how smooth the animation was, the transition was from one animation to another. It's relatively smooth. We could have improved the transition by right clicking. Clicking linear. Let's add an additional animation, and we'll add the time dilation. So that way we short or go forward, and we'll add some, carry this across, so lengthen timeline, and we'll include a time dilation to create some kind of matrix like effects. Okay, so we see a problem here. The transition between animation is not very smooth. So it's from here, watch the frame. And next frame will jump like transition like this. So what we'll do, we'll carry the frames one on top of each other to overlap. So we see when you overlap the different timelines or the improved transition. Create a time dilation around it. So click add time dilation. So you created the time dilation. So from up to here, we will let everything move up to 1. We'll create a keyframe here. 1. Then you create a keyframe here. But the keyframe here will be 0.5. Then you put another keyframe. 0.1. Then you create another keyframe. So all the keyframes will go up to 1 here. That was too long. So go to 0.5, then slow down. So go to 0.1, and then we'll go back up to 1. So let's start the animation, and let's click play. Okay, I didn't really like that. So you know what? I'll put this here. I'll put the matrix things there. So what I'll do, I'll create a frame. 0.1. Enter. I will delete these time frames. So let's go back and start. Press play. Press play. So you see the kind of slow down motion here. Every time I reach here, just slow down right here. So you see how you get the matrix effect. That's very good. And if you want, you can bake this into an animation. So, because after doing all this work, I mean, you don't want to lose it. So you can bake everything into an animation. Let's call this matrix. And all I want to do to get back this whole sequence, I'll just click here, animation, type M, alright, matrix, put this in bottom down there. What I will do, I think I've expanded timeline. Yep, I've expanded timeline. Let's drag and across the timeline. I will stop it somewhere right here, just before the timeline comes in. Now, because we have increased the timeline, obviously it will run. The man will run off the platform. When we go to here, right click, tick off match your position. So basically what I want the man to continue running. And match bone in previous clip. Go down to the foot, right foot. So the man will continue running. Summarize. Press play. So I won't see everything from here, so let's see everything. Press play. That's how to combine different animations in sequencer and how to include the time dilation effect for the matrix effect. Of course, we could put a sword in character's hand, but right now there's no sword, so we just click play. So that's how to combine animations in the sequencer and how to blend the animations. So this will bring me to the end of this lecture here.
That is it for this lecture. Do you want to learn more? Like and subscribe. You can also contact us, Impulse Response Enterprises Ltd.